Hi guys, so in this video we'll be looking at some of the money questions that would come in your CSEC maths paper, such as conversion of currency, simple interest, um, rates, and also salaries, those kind of questions, right? So in our first question here, we have Karen who exchanged 2,000 Barbados dollars and received 2,700 Eastern Caribbean dollars. So they want us to calculate the value of one Barbados dollar in Eastern Caribbean dollars. And these types of questions are really the beginning or the basis of algebra. All right, so let me make it simple for you. So if we write it out like an equation, we would see that 2,000 Barbados dollars, right, was converted to 2,700 Eastern Caribbean dollars. So they are asking us to find the value of one Barbados dollar. And very easily, we can see that if we were to divide this 2,000, let me change the color here. If we were to divide the 2,000 by itself, anything divided by itself is 1. Right? So if we were to divide 2,000 by 2,000, we would get the 1 Barbados dollar they're looking for. But in an equation such as this one, whatever you do on one side, you have to do it on the other side as well. So if you divide by 2,000 on the left hand side, on the right hand side you also need to divide by 2,000. So yes, you would get 1 on this side, but you will now get 2,700 over 2,000, which you can put in a calculator, or we could just cancel out the zeros like this, and whatever 27 over 20 is in your calculator, we could get that. Let me see if I could bring up a calculator here. Let's see what I have here. My calculator, it says that 27 divided by 20 is $1.35. So 1 Barbados dollar is equivalent to $1.35 Eastern Caribbean dollars. Okay, very simple. Now that is the first part of the question. Let's take a look at the second part. So the second part, if Karen exchanged 432 Eastern Caribbean dollars into Barbados dollars now, calculate the amount of Barbados dollars she would receive. So it's basically asking the reverse here. All right, so we already know this value here from before, right? So 1 Barbados dollar is $1.35 Eastern Caribbean, but now it's kind of the reverse. So I'm going to write it the other way, which is $1.35 Eastern Caribbean is 1 Barbados dollar. So now I want to find how much for 1 Eastern Caribbean dollar, how much Barbados dollars I would get for 1 Eastern Caribbean dollar, which is different, right? So I do the same thing like I did before. I divide by itself, $1.35, and now I have to do that over here as well. Okay, so 1 Eastern Caribbean dollar is equal to 1 over $1.35, but that's not what they're asking me. Now they're asking me for 432 Eastern Caribbean dollars. So if I have 1 over here and I want to change that to 432, what do? I simply multiply the 1 by 432. 1 by 432 is 432, right? So anything I do on the left hand side, I also do on the right hand side. So this 1 over $1.35 needs to be multiplied by 432. And that simply becomes 432 over $1.35 essentially. And my final answer in my little calculator over here, 432 divided by 1.35 is $320 BDS. Alright, and that is how we do these conversion questions. It's like the beginning of algebra where you learn the basics. Alright, let's take another example here, a more simple example. Marco is on a vacation in the Caribbean. He changes 4,500 Mexican pesos to Eastern Caribbean dollars, and he received 630 Eastern Caribbean dollars. What they want is us to complete this exchange rate below here. So they said 1 Eastern Caribbean dollar, they want to know how many Mexican dollars is that. Alright, very easy. So in the data that they give us, he got 630 Eastern Caribbean dollars from 4,500 Mexican pesos. Why I started it like that is because that's how they want it ended. They want the Eastern Caribbean first, so I put that first, right? And they just want the 1, so it's very easy. We already know what to do. We divide by 630 both ways. So this becomes 1 Eastern Caribbean dollar. I don't need to write that I divided by 630 each time, but I will certainly write it on the other side. That becomes 4,500 divided by 630. And I can calculate that in my fancy calculator here. So 4,500 divided by 630. I get 7.14. So $7.14 Mexican pesos. Alright, very easy. So 1 ECD is $7.14 Mexican pesos. Alright, you get 1 mark for that. It was a simple question. Let's take a look at a salary question here. When Megan started working, she was paid $85 each week. After a 6-month probationary period, her pay was increased by 20%. So now they want us to calculate how much she was paid each week after the increase. Now there are 2 ways of working this out, and I will do both of them for you. So originally she was paid $85 each week, and if she got a pay increase of 20%, we can choose to find 20% of $85 and then add that value to the $85 to get her new salary. Okay, so originally she got $85. The bonus was 20%. So to calculate the bonus, now percentage means out of 100. So 20% is 20 over 100 multiplied by the 85. Alright, so you can choose to put this in a calculator, or you could work it out. It really doesn't matter. So I will simply just work this out in my calculator here. So 20 over 100 is actually 1/5, right? You could actually find that here by dividing 20 over 100. That 0.2 is 1/5. And we simply multiply that by 85, and you get 17. So the bonus works out to be $17. So the new salary is equal to $85 plus $17, and we can work that out by simply adding these two together. We get $102 per week. Alright, so that is the first way of working it out. The second way of working it out now is by saying $85 is the original cost, is the original salary, and that is essentially 100% of her salary, right? We can say 100% of her salary is $85. Now, if she's getting a pay increase of 20%, then you can see that a new salary is worth 120%. All right, so we kind of need to use the money rule. So if 100% is $85, we first need to find for 1%. And that's very simple. Remember, to make anything 1, we divide by itself, right? So 100 over 100 is 1, and 85 over 100 will be the right side. Now, if we want to find 120%, which is a new salary, what we need to do to the 1, we need to multiply by 120, and anything we do on that side, we do on the other side. So this becomes 85 over 100 multiplied by 120. So let's see, 85 over 100 is 0.85 multiplied by 120 is, you guessed it, $102. So as you can see, we got the same answer using 2 different and very easy methods. So you pick your poison, right? You could just use 1. Okay, so let's take a look now at simple interest questions. So Mr. Adams invested $5,000 at the credit union, and he received $5,810 after 3 years. So they simply want us to determine the simple interest earned during that time, and that's very simple. But before we even do that, let us identify all the different points of the question. So the $5,000 is the initial investment, and this becomes our principal, which is P. Okay, he received $5,810, which is the new which is his final principal, basically, but we don't need to actually say anything about that. And the 3 years becomes our time, and we label that as T. So the simple interest earned is simply the new amount of money he got after the years minus the initial amount. That's how much he gained. That's the simple interest. So this is simply $5,810 minus $5,000, and you get $810, and this becomes our simple interest, or SI. Why am I putting all these symbols there? Is to make teaching you the formula very easy. Now, in the second part of the question, they want to know the annual interest rate paid by the credit union. This is what they're asking. They're asking for the rate, or R. So let's take a look at the simple interest formula. So simple interest is equal to your principal by the rate by the time all over 100. That is the formula. So what do we have here? We have the simple interest, which is 810. We have the principal. We don't have the rate. That's what they are asking for. And we have the time. Okay, so let's put in the values that we have. So simple interest is $810. The principal is $5,000. We don't have the rate, but we have the time, which is 3, and we have the 100 here. So let's start to simplify. This is looking big and it's looking very ugly. So let's simplify. We could cancel out some of these things. The 2 zeros in the 100 could cancel out the 5,000, the 2 zeros there. Okay, and we can actually multiply the 50 and the 3. So now this becomes a little bit simpler. You have the $810 there is equal to 50 by 3, which is 150, and multiplied by the R. So this is going to introduce something called making the subject of the formula, which I'll have a dedicated video on, but you kind of need to know how to do it now. Alright, so the rate, we need to get this on one side alone. So we need to get rid of this 150. But this 150 is being multiplied by the R, or the rate. So to get rid of it, we need to do the opposite of what is happening. So to get rid of a multiplication, we do the opposite of multiplication, which is division. So to get rid of the 150, we simply divide by 150. And in dividing by 150 on the right hand side, we also need to divide by 150 on the left hand side. So now this becomes 810 divided by 150. And if you divide by, I'm not showing you here, you don't need to write it, 150 over 150 is 1, okay? And 1 by anything is itself. So this is how you will get your R. So we just whip out our calculator here, if I could actually do it, yep. 810 divided by 150, and we get 5.4%. So the rate is 5.4% per annum. All right. And now the final question is the length of time it will take for Mr. Adams' investment to be doubled at the same rate of interest. So his initial investment is his principal, which is $5,000. So let me put that here. So the principal is $5,000. They want the final investment to be double that, which is $10,000. So therefore, how much simple interest he needs to make? He needs to make $5,000 in simple interest to add to the principal to make the final amount. Okay, and they are asking for the T, time. So let's put back in our formula here now. So simple interest is principal by rate by time over 100. So now we have the simple interest that we want, which is $5,000. We have the principal, which is $5,000 initially. We have the rate, which is 5.4%. And we don't have the time, which is T. And we put all of that over 100. So easy again. We take off the zeros here. Now we could simplify by saying 5,000 is equal to 50 multiplied by 5. That's 250. Multiplied by T. And just like the rate, we need to make T the subject of the formula. And 250 multiplied by T simply means to divide by 250 to make T alone there. And anything you do on one side, you do on the other side. So this becomes 5,000 divided by 250 will be your T. And let us put that in our calculator. That's 5,000 divided by 250, and you get 20. So this man needs to keep his money there for a massive 20 years for the money to double. All right, and that is simple interest in a nutshell. You can take screenshots of the working for the salary question as well as the conversion question. So I hope you guys learned something from this class, and I will see you in the next video.